What is going on, everybody? It is week 14 upon us. Week 13 is in the books. There's one more week to go of the regular season. And the final playoff spots are going to be, actually, let me rephrase that. The final playoff spot is going to be decided this week. I have gone through and figured out what everybody needs in order to have a shot at making that spot. I'm going to hop into the matchups here. Karma is my boyfriend taking on Mike Crotchburns. Right off the hop. There have been 3 200-point performances this year in our league. And 2 of them are by yours truly. Mike Crotchburns had a very good week, 163 points, but it's just not going to cut it. 200 points from Karma is my boyfriend, 20 from Howell, 18 from Hopkins, 27, 22, 28, 26, 29! And look at the first 4 from Mike Crotchburns, 30 from Gino, 29 from Evans, 32 from Tyreek, and 24 from Puka, but after that it just fell off. 203 points. Let's fucking go! And the funny thing is, I left points on the bench. I have 3 tight ends right now, and I put in the worst one. He had 15 points. So that's wonderbar. Jordan, I feel for ya. Stevenson, disabled. Robinson, questionable. Walker, questionable. Jonathan Taylor, out. Man, that running back room. That's tough. Good luck. Next matchup. Going to the TD bar. Taking on Fear Boners. Going to the TD bar. You were fighting for your playoff life. And you put up 114 points. I mean, I know that Fear Boners was 187 and had like a top 3 score this week, whatever it was. 114? 35 points in the win from Deebo Samuel with a huge game. Brock Purdy, obviously throwing him the ball, and that double dip right there for Fear Boners was huge this week. Dallas defense with 1 point. Wow. And Nico Brown with 0. Casey, did you leave points on the bench? Oh my god. I mean, I feel like I had somebody else in mind for the bitch of the week, but we'll make you a contender. I feel bad though, because you did lose, and Shane just kind of shit all over you. Next one, big fucking enemy TDs taking on the Swift Car Chase. The Swift Car Chase adheres to their winning ways as of late. 184 to 113. That about sums up Justin's season. 113. 31 points from Jamar Chase. What a game that was. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Mr. Jake Browning with 26 fucking points. Let's go. Am I in the right matchup here? It's got to be the right matchup. Who was I talking about? Jamar Chase, 31 points. Big week. 29 points from Sam Laporta. Also a big day. I don't know if you guys saw that game. Detroit versus the Saints. Detroit was up 21-0 in the first 6 minutes of that game. And it ended up being really, really close, which I was happy with because I had Taysom and Kamara. Big fucking enemy TDs. Just trucking along. 2-11. 12th spot. The Browns are number 1 spot, taking on Bijan Mustardson, who is Mr. Playoff Spot. But I think he's wondering how. How did he get here? What has he done to deserve this? 95 points? There might be 3 bitches of the week this week. You didn't even break 100. Oh, man, you must have been in bye week hell. I mean, I guess you got your playoff spot kind of wrapped up already. But damn, man, 95 points. Ugh. There was a chance if yeah, I don't know. Damn, dude. 15 points from Ayuk, 19 from Mr. White, and 23 from Evan Ingram. The Browns keeps rolling 166 to 95. They will retain their first spot. Dix Insider taking on Fantasy Fuckboy. Another guy where your playoff life is like on the line. And you're playing against a 2-10 at the time Fantasy Fuckboy. And you lose. I'm going to give an honorable mention to Casey and to Will. But Wade, this one belongs to you this week. My friend, this win would have been huge for you in being able to make the playoffs. And 103 points and a loss to Spencer, who moves out of the tie for last place with Justin, and Justin sits there all by himself in the basement. DK fucking Metcalf, Mr. 3 TDs. And that was really all it took. Stafford had a decent game, Pacheco had a decent game, but that Metcalf, 37 points. Looking at Chief of Stafford going against the waiver wire. This was a close battle, and could have been a lot closer had it not been for Christian Kirk's injury on Monday night, last night. I also just noticed the goose egg from tight ends. What do you got for tight ends going on here? Oh, Hawkinson is okay. That's tough. 0 points. Nico Collins, 34. Let's go. The waiver wire winning to keep his playoff hopes alive. Crazy enough. 25 points from Derrick Henry. He had a big game. Chuba Hubbard also had a 2-touchdown game. Waiver wire is going to be at 6 and 7, along with Rob at 6 and 7. So let's take a little look, shall we? We have the Browns and the Swift car chase. Both of those guys have clinched a first-round bye in the playoffs. So no matter which position they are in, after next week, they will both have a bye in the first round of the playoffs. Karma is my boyfriend, Fear Boners, and Bijan Mustardson at 8 and 5 have clinched a playoff spot. We are going to be playing in the first round. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Chief of Stafford, Mike Crotchburns, Dixon Sider, the waiver wire are all 6 and 7, and going to the TD bar is 5 and 8. Going to the TD bar, Casey, you are 1 win out of a playoff spot with 1 week to go. Unfortunately, there's a bit of a hiccup, and that hiccup is going to affect 2 people, and one is going to be Casey. That's going to be the big feeler of it, and the other one is going to be Rob. So this week, Mike Crotchburns plays Dixon Sider. What does that mean? Because the tiebreakers in our league are decided by previous head-to-head matchups, Mike Crotchburns and Dixon Sider have played against each other before, and Dixon Sider won. So a tiebreaker would go to Dixon Sider. What I mean by that is they cannot tie. If they can't tie, I'm sorry, Casey, you cannot make the playoffs. You are officially eliminated. I don't know if Yahoo's going to tell you that, but unfortunately, you cannot make the playoffs because Mike Crotchburns and Dixon Sider cannot tie. The other person that's going to affect is Rob. And why that's going to affect Rob is because Rob now cannot lose and make the playoffs. There is no way. Mike Crotchburns or Dixon Sider is going to be 7 and 7 after this week, and if Rob loses, he will not be. So, what does everybody need to get that final playoff spot? Starting with Chief of Stafford. You need to win because you cannot lose, and if you win, you can't lose by more than 60 points to Mike Crotchburns or Dixon Sider. That's just a rough estimate. But basically what it comes down to is if you win, you're in. If you lose, you're out. There's a possibility you win with a really low score and somebody else can take it from you, but your points for are going to help you out here. You've got about a 62-point spread right now. Essentially, Rob, if you win, you're in. If you lose, you're out. Mike Crochburn's in 7th spot. You need to win. You need to beat Dixon Cider. And you also need a Chief of Stafford loss, or you need to beat Chief of Stafford by 60 points. But I don't think that's going to happen. So essentially, you also need a waiver wire loss, or to not lose to them by a bunch of points. But essentially, Mike Crochburn's, you need to win, and a Chief of Stafford loss. Assuming the point spreads are going to kind of take care of themselves. If you win and Chief of Stafford loses, you're likely in the playoffs. Number 8, Dixon Cider. You need to win this week. You also need a Chief of Stafford loss. And you need a waiver wire loss, or to not lose to waiver wire by more than 45 points. So essentially, Dixon Cider, what you need is a win and a Chief of Stafford loss. Okay? So Rob, you win, you're in. Basically, Mike Crochburns is taking on Dixon Cider. The winner of those two will be in if Chief of Stafford loses. What does waiver wire need to win, or to do, to get in? He needs to win. He needs a Chief of Stafford loss. And he needs to outscore the winner of Mike Crochburns and Dixon Cider by either 45 or 55 points roughly, because that's the spread. So that's a little bit tougher. So waiver wire, you need to win, you need a Chief of Stafford loss, and you need to outscore the winner of the Mike Crochburns Dixon Cider matchup by more than whatever your points for spread is over the season. So quickly to recap, I know that was a lot of information. Essentially, Rob, you win, you're in. Mike Crochburns, essentially you win and Chief of Stafford loses, you're in. Dixon Cider, same thing. If you win and Chief of Stafford loses, you're in. Waiver wire, it's a little more complicated. You need some shit to fall in place. But this is going to be a crazy fucking finish. Good luck, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the regular season. I feel bad for the guys that didn't get in, but that's the way that it goes. Only 6 teams can make the playoffs. I appreciate y'all, and we'll see you after Week 14 and see how the playoff picture stands then. Good luck to all the 6 and 7 guys. This is a crazy finish. It's going to be fun to watch. Good luck. Commish out. May your players be ever healthy and unproductive.